Hey guys, it's Merrick again. Welcome to another Game and Chat. So, the topic I kind of had on my mind for today was Bethesda games and modding. And honestly, Bethesda games, they do have a lot of free space to mod and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. It's not on the level of Gary's mod where there's literally, nothing, and you basically just have to mod it to add stuff into it, which obviously makes the game better than a base game would be for Gary's mod, because it's just some Half-Life 2 assets and that's it. But I guess the blank slate thing is just kind of it's I don't really know how to describe it, because there's enough content in a Bethesda game to get you sort of going with everything like that. And I've only really noticed as of late, it's just personal stuff. And my personal sort of thoughts when it comes to mods were when I first started playing games, and I never really thought about mods to begin with, was that I could get through a game let's say Fallout 3 with no mods. And my recent playthrough of Fallout 3 had barely any mods, just some creature mods and I believe a unique weapon appearance thing for mods, and that's pretty much it. No combat overhaul updates, no extra quests, nothing like that. Because Fallout 3 really doesn't need it. I used to think that I would need, I used to think that I would want that sort of stuff, but it kind of grew to accept, at least with 3, that I didn't really need much to enjoy it, because the game on its own was kind of enjoyable. And I'm not even trying to condemn mods or anything like that. It's just that it's I don't know, you gotta find your own fun when it comes to games, and mods do help bring that. Now, I never really started modding games until I modded Gary's mod first. It was my first sort of modded game. And then my cousin introduced me to Skyrim mods through his own personal sort of collection of stuff. And it was just a bunch of random ass shit that I had in that. Oh, but then from there, that was kind of all I really needed for Skyrim, was just a bunch of creature mods and maybe a few different random things that would just make the game a little more personally enjoyable. I'm just gonna say this though, a game like Skyrim really helped me appreciate games like Oblivion a little bit more, on their own. Because I also modded Oblivion for a little bit, but I didn't mod it too much. I added a few extra areas and something to give one part of the game a little more depth. I don't know, I really don't know how to put it, because it's just I don't, a lot of games that I feel are complete enough and don't need mods to, I wouldn't say complete them, but to, for example, add a little extra, because, let me get to the point, let me get to a nitty-gritty bit. 2 games that really bothered me with content-wise. Well, 3 actually. Two, a couple games that I really wanted to buy. Skyrim was one game, and I'm kind of glad that, yes, I did get introduced to modding it, thankfully, which I did through my cousin and then through myself now with this sort of stuff. And I added a bunch of stuff that I really wanted in there, extra creatures, stuff that would fit, and others that wouldn't fit, but they were just fun. I guess it's I really don't care about lore-breaking mods, because it's just kind of oh, if you're gonna mod, you might as well mod, a shit ton of stuff in. If you want, if you want, dildozers from, frickin' Idiocracy or Saints Row 4 as, a giant robot or something like that in your game, and it's possible to mod that in, you should have that sort of thing in. But, what I'm getting at is that, I don't know, I feel like mods really do add a little extra, a lot of depth to games. And it's funny to think that how far, for me, modding has come, because I find out that there's mods for games that I really never thought that you could mod. For example, Sonic the Hedgehog. There's a mod for Sonic Generations, which really, there's not just one, but there's a ton. You could change Sonic's character model You could change, like, there's different levels and shit. And, like, he's like, how do you, like, how do you make this? And I guess there's, like, some templates, because there are, like, online, there's a lot of, like, freeware online games that sort of get that going. And I honestly would have thought that, those mods would have been a part of that, but no, it's a mod for, like, it's a mod for a game that I never knew you could have modded. And I guess it's this sort of thing, like, modding in general is just really cool. Like, I wish I had the talent to, like, code and make my own mods and shit, but, like, I'm very grateful that, like, people come up with, like, some really fun concepts, like, all the shit that you're kind of seeing in this gameplay right now. It's really, I don't know, it's just fun to mod a game and, like, see something different than what it's already in there, and it really helps games like Fallout 4, New Vegas, and, like, Skyrim, which have, like, very little in terms of, like, creature variety and stuff like that, at least in my opinion. You can just edit whatever you want into it, and boom, you can have, like, a completely different thing. Or you can turn the moon into an egg or something like that, or, you have Majora's Mask moon floating above the sky over there. Like, you can do all sorts of, like, crazy shit with mods, and I find that, I don't know, I feel like that's, like, very much, it obviously is, like, freedom with games, but, like, the fact that there's mods that you can have for, like, certain games that, like I said, I didn't know you could possibly mod. Like, hell, there's people who are mod classic Resident Evil 2, and you need ROMs and stuff like that, but like, I'm like, wow, really? That caught me off guard, and I'm like, seriously, that's cool. Because I never would have thought there'd be a mod for, like, that type of game, or a game like Star Control 2, like a mod that completely continues the story from where it left off. Like, I don't know, I guess I'm easily excitable with that sort of thing, but, a lot of these sort of things. Hell, some Bethesda games, even you try to have people make a whole other game in it, like Skyblivion, or, like Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. I don't know what the hell they call that, but I don't know what the hell the official name of that is, but, like, these system mods, and they go on and on and on for a long time. Like, some might say they could be, like, vaporware by some point. I used to say that about a lot of stuff, like, oh, that's going to be vaporware, and when it usually comes to, like, indie games, I was like, Mighty Number 9 was an example. But, like, modding, because it's, like, it's, like, basically a person's, like, I guess a hobby would be a best way to put it. Or, like, they're sort of, not opus, but, like, it takes, like, I guess a lot to, make a whole other game in a mod. And, like, it's like a whole other game in another game with a mod, or, like, giant DLC size mods. It's like, when is this stuff, like, how, like, when do people find the time to make this? Like, I know free time is, like, crazy, but it's like, damn, it's like, it's just nuts, man. I gotta give a lot of respect to people who do this sort of thing, because it just brings, it's basically free enjoyment for, like, a lot of other people. Like, if they share, whoa, this is an example of a mod that scared the fuck out of me right there. I did not notice that thing. But yeah, like it's just, like, it's crazy how much work goes into a lot of these, and it's like, I'm surprised. I'm, like, surprised at how, that when they come out too, it's like, man, this could take forever, but then it's like, surprise, it's out, or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, really? It's like, I don't know, it's like opening up a mystery box, I guess is the best way to put it. You never know what you're gonna get when you dig into mods. Or, like, hell, you think you're finished modding games like I am, then you go on the Nexus or something like that, like, years later, like a year or two after you've, like, I'm done modding this game, I don't need anything else. You find, like, a shit ton of stuff. It's like, oh man, I gotta add this now too, because you just like it too much. I don't know. It's just fun. Like, this is the best way to put it. It's just fun to mod something and see new things and experience new things in the game. So, like, what do you guys think? Like, I want to know what you guys think of mods. Like, do you think that they're, like, I don't think that they're a required thing for a game, unless, like, as I personally believe, like, certain lack of content or lack of, like, creatures and other sort of, like, weird shit in a game. Because I don't mod every video game. I don't mod every video game I own. I mod a few, and some of them are just like sort of rebalances and stuff like that, like Borderlands 2, for example. Nothing like too crazy in terms of like, oh, well, this is like like just redistribute some stats. This is more along the lines of like a, certain thing. Instead of like, oh, like this is a whole new campaign, you can do this and that. I was like, oh my wow. But yeah, like that's the sort of meat and potatoes of it, isn't it? But like some games I like to mod, others I don't really try to mod because either I don't want to download another mod manager, or it's like, wow, this would be cool, but do I really need to mod this game? Like I get enough enjoyment out of it as is. I don't really need to add a lot more to it. You know what I'm saying? So like, what do you guys think about mods? Do you think that they're required in some cases? Do you think they're required all the time? Do you think that they're just fun little add-ons? Like I kind of get the gist of like the modding scene. Like I can understand it, but I want to hear like what everybody else thinks. Cuz like especially considering that Bethesda games are sort of like a breed, like a sort of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? A breeding ground of this sort of thing, because they're very, large spaces you could be filled that can be filled with a lot. But there's enough here to tell its own story, rather than like have nothing at all. But the cool thing about it though is that, like I said, mods are so variable that everybody has different preferences. Like you could have like one person could have just like all lore friendly stuff, and another person have like lore friendly and non lore friendly stuff combined. Like it's just for the fun of it. Like it's all up to preference and like what people find taste, like what are people's tastes, what's fun and all that stuff. And you know what, I think that's what brings it together. It's just modding is like gaming. It's weird. It's almost like this weird combination of stuff. Though some mods do kind of break games and everything like that. Other mods just kind of like add extra content that's missing. Which it's development, it's gaming and development, and it's like all this cool stuff combined, which makes like games even better than they are, or could potentially make games even better than they are, or worse if you really want to like, because I think there are some mods that make things worse as like a joke, like joke mods and all that stuff, but that's besides the point. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting to see this sort of stuff play out, is what I'm getting at. And you know what? I want to know what else people think. Like, how do you think that mods affect like the game? Like, do you think it's like this sort of thing, or do you think I'm overthinking it, or or am I someplace else with this sort of thing? Because I've only been modding since like I'd say about should give like a good year out, because I kind of lost track of years now, because fuck it. I'd say about maybe 7-ish years, maybe 7. I'm not too sure, but like, what do you guys think? Do you think I'm a little crazy with this? Do you think I'm like, I'm going somewhere, or do you think I'm like, I'm going somewhere? What are your personal thoughts on mods? Do you think like they're cool? Do you think they're needed? Do you think they're not needed? Or do you think like me that certain games like are better with them, and others are good enough that they don't need an extra mod or two to like spice things up? Alright guys, I'm going to leave that discussion down in the comment section, and I'll catch you all later. As of tonight, we're going to be streaming some Subnautica, and I'll see you guys then. Merrick, out. See you guys.